Hi, this is TK,
And this is Tony.
and we are here today to talk to you about the newest A24 horror thriller starring Nicolas Cage, Micah Monroe, Blair Underwood, Longlegs.
They should have called his daddy Longlegs.
Why? That's a spider.
Yeah, maybe it would have been creepier. Longlegs.
Did you want to do the setup, the premise?
Okay, a intrepid young woman
Played by Micah Monroe.
is going to the FBI. Right there, I was thinking of Jodie Foster's character in Silence of the Lambs.
She's a new recruit, a
Right.
junior FBI agent.
Yes, and we get a glimpse of her home life or her life with her mother and how it relates to the thing, and then she gets assigned a case from her commanding officer, Blair Underwood, who I haven't seen in a long time. It was good to see him in anything. And it kind of takes off from there. That's the basic premise.
Okay, yeah. So the case revolves around these serial killings that dates back, I believe, back to 30 years.
Right. The movie takes place in the 90s.
And so,
It's a flashback to like in the 70s, I guess.
yeah, so so they're investigating a case about a serial killer. The only thing they know is the person's MO. They know that it's usually a family of a nuclear family with the father, mother, and I think they target daughters.
Daughters specifically are the main perspective or MO or
Right.
pattern. Let's
Yeah,
say.
with the pat, you know how serial killers have patterns like Zodiac killer and all that. With the main, with they're targeting girls who have a birth date on a certain day. I believe it's the 14th of whatever month, right?
Right. That's correct. It's a pattern that is established later in more detail, but essentially it's the 14th of the month. And if I'm not mistaken, they're also a certain age, maybe. I'm
We can't remember.
Yeah.
We saw it last Thursday. We got a sneak preview of it the day before it opened. Just now getting around to doing this review. So anyway, got the premise. Micah Monroe, who you might remember from The Stranger and from It Follows. She's an up and coming. They've dubbed her the new Scream Queen. She plays this junior detective, much like Jodie Foster in Silence of the Lambs. And you later find out that the person that's doing the killing is Nicolas Cage. I cannot remember what his name is, what the character's name is on here. But
I don't think they ever gave him a name other
they
than
did. They did. They nicknamed him Longlegs. I think it's something like, I don't know. Anyway, I forgot to mention too that this movie is directed by Osgood Perkins, who is Anthony Perkins's son.
And an interesting fact I found out just yesterday. Osgood Perkins is named for his grandfather, who was also an actor. Did not know that. Probably.
So Anthony Perkins is his father. You might remember him from
Yes,
the lead in Psycho.
I skipped.
Story revolves around this female junior FBI detective. She has a strange psychic connection with Longlegs, right?
Yes.
And you later find out why. As a matter of fact, the movie kind of opens with a bang, with them canvassing the neighborhood, trying to investigate these murders. And she tells her field partner, "Hey, I think he's in this house."
Right. She says this serial killer we're looking for is right here at this house. And the guy's like, "What are you talking about?" And it proves to be true.
Now we're meandering a little bit, so I want to take it back to the Longlegs' MO. So they find out through a series of investigations, and of course, I think these murders have been going on for quite some time. Dates back, I want to say 30 years, right? And not only are they targeting a certain type of family, the girls with the certain birthdays, girls certain age, mom, dad, daughters, whatever. They also realize that what's happening is that the father is usually committing these bloody murders.
The fathers are the actual murderers.
Right, the fathers are the actual murderers, but they don't have any evidence of anyone being there during the time of the crime, either before or after. So that's stopping them.
Right.
Yeah.
And that particular plot detail got my attention. I'd love to see somebody really pull off a situation like that and then have a logical, basic human solution. Not so much in this one, but
Well, if you didn't know, if you've been under a rock and haven't seen any of the marketing for this movie has been great.
I would say if you haven't seen the marketing, you've missed absolute pristine, should be award winning marketing.
Yeah.
It definitely has done that, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
It's marketed great. In my opinion, maybe hyped it up a bit too much for my taste, but if I wanted to market my own movie, I would hire whoever did this marketing. It's great. We were hearing about this movie 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Little bitty snippets and trailers, not even full trailers. They're just snippets that were on YouTube and various other situations or locations. So they did a good job of hyping it up.
Very creepy marketing. It is, no doubt about it, it is a supernatural movie. I mean, if you've seen any of the interviews with the director, who also, Osgood Perkins, we forgot to mention, you also probably know him from a couple of his other titles.
He's done some acting.
Yeah. Black Coat's Daughter is what he's directed, and I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House. You can find both of those on streaming. I believe Black Coat's Daughter had a working title or an alternate title of February. Both of those are really good films. Osgood is great about setting tone. He's known for his cinematography, his kind of like static shots, and just a certain
it's interesting
stillness,
you bring
but
that up because the commonality I'm seeing online or various places for reviews is the cinematography was so great. And if there was one real caveat, one real itty bitty thing I had a problem with, it was the cinematography. In my opinion, anyway, the shots were too long, too staticky, a little bit boring. But hey, it might be a good way to shoot a horror movie. Who knows?
I mean that's his style, specifically with the Black Coat's Daughter. If you've seen that one. I know it's probably been a while since you've seen it. Since most people have seen it, it came out a few years ago. I can't remember the year, but yeah, I mean he's known for that. I personally liked the cinematography a lot. It was something about his camera angles. He shot low, and when he's doing a close up, the characters are almost kind of looking like they're in a fishbowl.
Fisheye lens kind of thing.
I guess, yeah. It reminded me of and I meant to look this up before we started. It's a Busta Rhymes video that was really creepy. Do you remember the name of that song? And they're getting the close up in the camera.
They use that technique in Busta Rhymes videos and Missy Elliott videos, and
that style reminds me of that. But so cinematography, we're kind of split on that one. I liked it. He didn't. So let's get into plot. We eventually find out that Nicolas Cage is Longlegs. Big surprise. We told you this was going to be, this review is going to contain spoilers. And eventually it is, we learn a little bit more about Micah Monroe's character, the FBI agent, and her mother, her relationship with her mother and the connection. As it turns out, Nicolas Cage, also known as Longlegs, is like a steward of the devil. Like, what would you call him?
The devil's minion, maybe?
One of the devil's minions, I guess, for lack of a better word, here on Earth. He's a Satan worshiper. And you find out that he's crafting these human-like dolls that he puts some type of, either through witchcraft. It's never really explained.
Metallic ball in a doll's brain. Mm-hmm. And apparently the plot develops that it has the ability to mind control people.
Mm-hmm. And in a satanic way. They never really go through, never really go into detail about how he does that exactly. But you later find out that there's a doll made in the FBI detective's image. I don't know anybody's character names. I'm sorry. I should have looked that up before. I can't remember. But Micah Monroe's character, you later learn that there is a doll made in her image, and that Nicolas Cage was like living with and her mom the whole time, like literally living like in the basement. That's where he would craft his dolls. And you later find out that the mother, who's like super religious, she agreed to help Longlegs deliver these dolls to these unsuspecting victims. And that's the mechanism of how they get these people to commit these murders.
Yeah, she goes around as a nun or assorted religious people, and so you got to get from the church. It's a doll, and people take it in, and hijinks ensue.
Yeah, a lot of bloody hijinks, just murder, mayhem. But so that's the plot. Talked about cinematography, the acting. People are making a big deal out of Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage is just so goofy. I mean,
he's just...
every role he takes, he's over the top. So it's pretty much what you would expect from Nicolas Cage.
Right. I mean, I don't see anything. They're saying things like, this is like a breakthrough, groundbreaking acting for him. Yeah, but Nicolas Cage, like, my favorite movie is Raising Arizona. I remember the first time I noticed Nicolas Cage was in that movie, and he's just so quirky. He brings like a certain quirk to every role that he's in anyway. So he plays Longlegs. He talks in this high voice. The makeup, I've seen a lot of descriptions of him looking like a Tiny Tim. Is that his name? Tiptoe Through the Tulips?
That's a good comparison. He sounds like Tiny Tim.
He looks like a demonic Tiny Tim. So, I mean, his character, when you see him, because they make a big deal of not showing him, and I don't think you really see him quarter through the movie.
I had assumed that at least some pictures would leak out to the internet by this point, but they're really covering their bases and make sure his picture doesn't get out. It's not that revelatory.
It's not a big deal to me. I mean, he just looks like Nicolas Cage, acting like crazy Nicolas Cage, and some crazy looking makeup. I mean, that's it. But the tone of the movie is very creepy. I love horror movies. I knew going in by Osgood's, the director's own admission, this is definitely going to be supernatural. So I wanted to see it. Of course, all the hype. It is a scary movie, but it wasn't as scary as I anticipated. As a matter of fact, I'd say you liked it more than I did, because you made a remark when we walked out the theater that you said you think that a lot of serial killers.
My quote was, if there is in the future yet another serial killer caught in real life, he will have quotes from this movie or make reference to this movie. It's eerie and disturbing more than scary, I would say. Yeah,
and I, going into it, I've heard people say, it's going to stick with you, and it does. I was thinking about it for days later. For me, there was a lot of things that ended up not making sense in the plot. Not making sense, but like a lot of loose ends, a lot of things that could have been answered. Right.
It's kind of movie that if you think about too much, you're going to get disappointed.
But it's also the kind of movie, I was thinking about this the other day, I think I would like to see a sequel. I rarely say this, but I think I would like to see a sequel and focus more on Longlegs' character, his motivation.
Maybe a prequel.
I'm sorry.
That would be a good idea.
I'm sorry, yes. I would like to see a prequel of Longlegs.
Prequel would be interesting.
Yeah, prequel would be interesting because, I mean, the only thing that I really didn't like about this movie is that the plot was kind of thin. And it is what they call a slow burn, a.k.a. kind of boring. I usually don't mind a slow burn, especially with these A24 movies. I love A24. I love horror. I don't mind if it takes a little while to build the story or whatever. But the payoff, I don't know. Not so much. What did you think about the acting?
Oh, it was great all around, and especially the lead girl. What'd you say her name was?
Micah Monroe.
I'm not too familiar with her, but she did a good job. Like I said, just seeing Blair Underwood do anything was interesting. I haven't seen that man in so long.
Yeah, he looks great too. He did a good job in this. Yeah.
And so overall, yeah.
And we talked about Nicolas Cage's performance. Nicolas Cage is just always going to be Nicolas Cage. He's a great actor, but he's just always going to bring his little quirkiness to whatever role he plays. So regardless of whether it's good or bad, just seeing him is always a treat. So if you're a Nicolas Cage fan, if you're an Osgood Perkins fan, if you liked his previous titles, Tony mentioned previously that he is an actor. He's been in a couple roles, including Quigley, which I never saw.
Who's the actor's name? It's a horrible movie with Oh
The
gosh,
actor
the
that
guy
was in a
from,
motorcycle accident, and Gary Busey.
Gary Busey, thank you.
I like him as a director. I like his style. I want to see more from him. This was not a bad movie. I mean,
No,
don't get
I
it wrong. It
wouldn't
wasn't a
call it
bad
a bad
movie.
movie.
It was enjoyable. A little slow at points. It just kind of didn't live up to all the marketing hype.
Right, a little bit better.
If you can, if you're interested in this type of horror, if you like any of the actors in it, I would say ticket, because the sound design is, which I forgot to mention, which I failed to mention, is really good in this too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Again, with a few caveats. I mean, if this is the description we've given is your type of movies, go see it. But general public, I'd say you could wait.
Yeah. So, yeah, that is our thoughts on Longlegs. Let us know how you like it if you check it out. If you want to see more videos like this, please be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.